Good morning, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube, and I'm very excited to be coming here and sharing with you today, so I trust you're well. While you're coming over, I want to send out a big extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. So I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia, where it is Monday the 19th, I think. Actually, I better check. Monday the 18th at 8:18 a.m. here, and it's a bit fresh. I set up outside here about half an hour ago, ready, and the sun was shining, and now it's got a bit cold, and we've got cockatoos calling out to each other in the trees nearby. So welcome. So this is support and healing time. I plan to be here for about 20 minutes roughly, give or take, and what I'll be doing is using my quartz singing bowl in the middle, and at the beginning and the end I'm going to be pulling a healing energy card. So I've got my combined deck here with the original deck that's been upgraded and my brand new healing energy cards deck 2. So 110 healing cards here, which is fun to play with. So we'll pull a card from there in a minute. So I'll pull a card there, and that will basically guide the direction of our support and healing video today. And then based on that card and what's shared, then I'll play the singing bowl with some intention. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to be talking about today. So that's all I know that I've planned. So I guess I need to pull a card so we see what our kind of topic is today. So I trust that you're well. How are you doing? It's been very intense. I just had to stop and think that it's Monday already here, but last week was incredibly intense for me personally, so it was a bit of an identity shift, which has been very interesting and quite the struggle at times, but certainly come out the other side and had breakthrough, which is good. So I find that as I'm moving through like deeply dark times, let's say, or low times, if I can just keep sort of moving through, if I can keep feeling my way forward, it helps me get to the breakthrough point. And it's usually within a few days. Like, I don't like energy hovering, so I've just got to make the time to access and resolve and find a resolution, a personal resolution for whatever issue I might be having. It doesn't happen very often these days, but it's something I need to be proactive with. So the weekend I found was fairly integrating, sort of just letting the energy settle just a little bit. So I don't know how you've been doing, but let's grab a card now and see what the majority of us need. So I'm not pulling cards for individuals. This is general support for everyone, so I trust you've been led here for a reason. Let's see what comes up. The best card for the majority of us right now is this. It's Healing Energy Cards Deck 2, and the card is card 104, called Conquering Fear. Conquering Fear is the name of this card. 104, it's in the action category. So action's about moving through things. So just like I was saying before, really, we can get stuck in things. We can get stuck in a state of feeling. We can get stuck in fear. We can get stuck in heaviness, aloneness, low self-worth, thinking low or doubtful about ourselves. We can get stuck. We can get stuck in grief as well. In fact, grief's probably a really good example of really getting stuck, and with good reason to, really, to be stuck in grief, especially with a loss that's been very close to us. And it's not necessarily just or only limited to the loss of life around us, but also the loss of things. So things that come to an end. We can also feel loss as we move on from things and we close doors on things. That can also bring a bit of a grief state within us as we come to terms with the fact that we're moving on now, or things have changed for us now. So grief is a really big energy, and all those other examples I've given plus more as energy that we can tend to be stuck in, and it can be either a state of mind or a feeling. Like grief is very much a feeling, and we can sort of hold ourselves there. And I find if I'm resisting and not letting myself really feel what I'm feeling, the grief, the anger, the frustration, the whatever, the lowness, whatever it might be, if I'm not fully jumping into that, then a part of me is denying it or trying to avoid it. And the more I try and deny and avoid something or turn the other way and pretend it doesn't exist, or not come face to face with the depth of feeling or the depth of issue that's been presented, then the more stuck I feel and the more stagnant I feel. I find that energy very, very uncomfortable, just being stuck. So I need to get that energy moving. So this conquering fear, this is in the action category. This is getting energy moving, progressing, making progress, being proactive and productive and putting effort in to what we need to shift and what we need to move into or move out of. So down here it says, don't allow your insecurities to stop you from proceeding. Look at them, look at those insecurities, release them, and then proceed. Summon your courage and overcome. So overcoming fear, overcoming those insecurities or the things that hold you back. So have you been feeling insecure? Are you feeling insecure today? Are you feeling scared? What are you afraid of at this point as you're facing your life stuff right now? Are you facing doors that need closing? Are you facing doors that need opening? Are you trying to figure out what you need to do? Are you dealing with intense things and challenges in your life right now? Those sort of one-off big things that happen. So how can you conquer fear? I find the energy of letting go helpful with pretty much everything. Releasing, letting go, and letting our hold go. My big motto for myself, moving out of that low space I was in last week, and the shifting of identities and all this personal stuff that came up for me. What's really been helping me move forward out of that as my own lifeline are the words, take a leap of faith. And I just keep being drawn to that leap of faith, which in other words is like taking a risk and following our heart and stepping out of our comfort zone and trying something new and just seeing if it will work. Because sometimes the prospect of something is very scary. So we hold in the space or the situation that we don't particularly like or we complain about or we're scared of, in fear of actually what could be the alternative. Even though it might be exciting for us, sometimes it's quite the conundrum and quite the contradiction, really. So so letting go is helpful for pretty much everything, except I don't particularly find it that supportive when I'm dealing with fear personally, because fear is like a way that my lower self, my lower mind, my ego, which to me is the voice of my hurt and pain, it's my ego's way of trying to stop me from doing something that frees myself from the ego or from the hurt or from the pain. Now, I'm not talking about the instinctual fear to keep ourselves alive, like we wouldn't walk out in front of traffic, for example, or jump off a cliff, literally. We could imagine ourselves doing it if we're doing some healing, but it's not literal things that we do because that would be the end of our body. So there are certain fears like that, instinctual, to keep ourselves alive. So I'm not talking about that stuff. But fear of proceeding, fear of the unknown, fear of change, fear of healing, fear of letting go, fear of hurting others, that sort of thing. So what I find is the fear is trying to stop me. It's like a resistance. It's trying to stop me from proceeding with something that could be really good for me moving forward, really uplifting and really positive, a really good outcome for me moving forward. And I found in the past, over many decades actually, of exploring this, that the louder my fear and resistance, because fear and resistance do tend to go together, the louder the fear and the resistance, the more amazing the thing is on the other side that the fear is trying to stop me from doing. So I've had to sort of wise up to my fear, and I found it not really that helpful to let it go as I would let go of an issue or something, but more instead to deal with the fear by building up my courage, building up my strength, and sometimes it is even strength building in my body. But build up my strength, my mental and my emotional, my physical strength, my confidence in knowing that I can get through this and that something pretty amazing has to be on the other side if this fear's pretty loud. And then I have to use that courage and that strength to almost push through the fog of fear and come out and see what's on the other side. The fear is trying to keep me small. It tries to keep us small and limited and insecure and scared. It tries to keep us there because that's what a part of us, the lower part of us, needs to survive. So it's threatened when we go and try something new and when we step out of our comfort zone and when we succeed with things. It threatens our small, little, wounded self. So the way it tries to stop us from proceeding to basically eliminate it is by presenting fear. So the louder the fear, the louder the resistance, I've found, the more amazing the potential thing is on the other side. So it might stop me personally for a short amount of time, but once I realise, oh, okay, I'm feeling scared, I'm feeling resistance here, I need to now work on building my courage, my strength, my confidence, my will, my determination to push through this fog of fear and come out the other side. So think about fear, especially if you've got fear presenting at this time or resistance. Think about how you can conquer it, how you can summon your courage to push through and see what's on the other side. So what's your fear trying to stop you from doing? And is it a logical, does it make sense, this fear? Or is it something that seems to clash and contradict, say, with your heart? It can be the same sort of thing as like the conundrum or the conflict between the head and the heart. So I'm going to play the singing bowl here, crystal quartz singing bowl, which is aligned with the throat chakra. The throat chakra is about communication, expression and truth, and feeling safe to speak our truth and be who we are. And get to know who we are if we don't know that first, because how can we be our truth and be who we are if we don't know who we are? So sometimes we need to go back to like the basics, which is, okay, who am I? And so once we establish that, then we can establish our truth. And then that also helps bring a confidence or rise a confidence in expression and communication as we become more certain and sure and confident and clear about who we are and what our truth is. Then we can more easily express it to ourselves ultimately, but also to others in our life. So I'm going to play the singing bowl. There's nothing you can do wrong, so just listen and let the sound of the bowl support you and hold you as you sit with this energy and what this means for you. Yes, Aileen, fear saps my confidence because fear is disempowering. So it's trying to take your power away. That's why I find the best antidote to fear is to build my power so that I can rise up in some ways above the fear and figure out for myself how to proceed and not let fear dictate that to me, because it does have a tendency to pull our energy down and our confidence down, and we feel low. And the more we let it take over, the more it's going to do that, because that's what it needs to survive, to keep our lower self in power, if you like. So if there's anything that's been shared that really speaks to you personally, and especially in relation to what you've got going on in your life or how you've been feeling or how you are feeling, then I would also be sitting in that. So sit in that and see what speaks to you and what you might want to try as a solution or as an action for you to take to be able to move through any issues that have come up that are related to what I've been talking about, or something to consider. And if you aren't sure or you need something else that's more important that hasn't been covered, then hold that intention in your heart. And I trust that you receive what you need from the singing bowl. So I'll just play this for a few minutes. Take a nice big breath and let yourself receive what you need. Okay, so take a nice big breath. So nice doing this outside. Since we moved, I haven't really been able to do it outside that much. It tends to be colder here, and we've got quite the aggro neighbour, but I think he's moved out temporarily, so every time I came out before, he'd have a little temper tantrum. Not here, but whatever is happening over there. So it's just nice to be outside and play the singing bowl. So thank you. And thank you. I trust you enjoyed that bowl time and connecting. Even if it was just a little bit of time where you could catch your breath, then that's always good. So if you just joined in, I was playing the singing bowl and have been chatting around conquering fear. So see how that feels for you. So before I pull another card and to go, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment, please share if you're inspired to. And if you would like to connect more privately, please send us a message through our website. So I've got a lot of things coming up if you're in Tasmania. So I've got my very first ever make your own concrete paver, which is like my pavers here that I have made. That's coming up on the 7th, I think, of October. So if you're in the area, have a look on my ceramics website. Also my grand studio opening, which the studio's back there, you can probably see through my lattice. Grand studio opening on the 11th and 12th of November here at Campbelltown in Tasmania. So it's open 11 till 4. You can pop in briefly, you can come for a couple of hours. There will be the option for some clay play time where you can purchase for $20 a little lump of clay and you can make yourself a cup or an owl or a dish or anything. In fact, I've had fun making some little practice sample ideas with that amount of clay, and I can fire that for you. Great for kids. If they're under 12, then they need to be accompanied by an adult who can pay and join in too, or just supervise. So that's on the 11th and 12th of November. And then also I've got my first workshops in my studio, which I want to do more of, especially in spring and summer. And that's on Saturday the 25th of November. We're doing make a set of cups. So it depends how many you can make in the time period, but it might be 3 or 4 cups that you can make yourself and decorate. And then on Sunday the 26th of November is my first acrylic painting workshop. We're going to do some painting. So if you're in Tasmania, I'm very central, right in the middle of the state. Or if you want to come to Tasmania to enjoy any of those, then please have a look on my website, leannepeters.com. And if you want to learn more about my healing energy cards or any of the things I do at Temple of Balance, please visit templeofbalance.com.au. So thank you very much for watching today. Let's grab a card to go. So this will be related to what I've already been talking about. And what I'm looking for is the best card for what's next. So I'm thinking the next kind of 24 hours as we prepare to turn this off. What do we need to think about or do? What action do we need to take? What do we need to consider to help us shift out of that fear or shift out of that resistance or shift out of that stuck energy? It may not even be fear or resistance you're feeling. Maybe you just feel stuck. Maybe underneath that stagnant, stuck energy, maybe you are scared. So maybe there is a link as well. Maybe not. But how can we get this energy moving practically in our life as we move forward from here? That's the card I'm looking for. So for the majority of us, the best card for what's next is this. Okay, it's from the original deck, Healing Energy Cards, Deck 1. And we have card 22 called Healing Hands. So this is a new artwork if you've got the old deck. It's in the action category. So again, movement, action. Let's get out of the rut. And rut is a stagnant energy too. Let's get out of that that's holding us back. Often it's ourselves that are holding us back, our own insecurities, our own lack of self-worth. I noticed too recently that, I know for me, I didn't realise it at the time until last week, but that I put my own self-worth in attached to in some ways things that I do or roles that I play. So I found that very interesting, that when a role was pulled out, when a really big role ended for me, my self-worth seemed to be attached to that. So my self-worth just plummeted, because I didn't realise that I was valuing myself from that role. So I had to sort of shift out and move that. So this sort of lack of self-worth, all this stuff can pull us down. So this is proactive. Let's get moving now. Healing hands. So down here it says hands. So if you've got stuff going on with your hands, that's relating to this card. Creativity, expression, building, making, caring, nurturing, receiving, emitting, extension, intentions, bring something into form. So there's using our hands to make things, using our hands to create or build or give or offer or help or care. That sort of thing as well. But what do we need, and how does this relate actually to what I've already been talking about? Okay, so what can we do? What can we do? What can we create? What can we build in our life? And if that's part of what you've been afraid of, if that's part of your fear and resistance and the stagnant rut that you've been in, is that you've been afraid or maybe hesitant or doubtful in your abilities to create or to build a better life for yourself, then this is almost like channeling that energy. It feels like out of the fear or out of the stagnant space, or whatever that shows up for you, and channeling that energy down, almost like from our head and down through our body, through our heart, and out our arms and out our hands in what we create and do. And what intentions are we setting? Are we holding back? And what about our hands and our body movement? And our hands in particular are part of that holding back. Are we clenching our fists a lot lately? Can we open up? Can we get our hands doing something? So it feels very physical. So what can we physically do today? What can we physically do in the next 24 hours to move ourselves out of that rut, out of that fear, out of that, or to build our strength again, our self-worth, our confidence? What can we do, physically do or create or make? So that's healing hands. So thank you. If you resonate with that too, you may want to go straight to that deck card in your deck. Keep it close by for a couple of days. And yes, we do heal and we help people with our hands. Absolutely. Thanks everyone for connecting. Have a fantastic day. I'm about to share our monthly healing, private healing event for Pillar of Light members. So if you're a Pillar of Light member, I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye for now.